Halo 2 is a great game. Where Combat Evolved was the game that introduced everyone to Halo and started the original Xbox, I feel like Halo 2 is the game that made the system explode to even bigger popularity. It has amazing gameplay, great levels, great characters, a great story. This game introduced Xbox Live and online multiplayer, and that was a huge deal. Halo 2 did everything Combat Evolved did great, and just improved on it. And this game is considered by many as the best Halo game ever. However, for me, Halo 2 is actually one of my least favorite in the franchise.
It was heresy.
Oh boy, if any of my other videos haven't pissed people off already, I feel like this might because, just how popular Halo 2 is. But let me explain. Now, I like Halo 2, and I do think it's a good game. I have come back to it many times, and I have replayed it over and over again. However, there are things about this game that I really don't like whenever I come back to it, and it brings the game down for me. And while I like this game, I just think the other Halo games are just better. I just do. So enough of that. Let's get into the video and let me explain my feelings about this game. So Halo 2 came out in 2004, basically at the end of the original Xbox's lifespan, because a year later the Xbox 360 would be released. But the game had a lot of improvements. The graphics for the original Xbox version looked a lot better than how Combat Evolved looked. Whether it be how the Covenant looks, or the characters, or how Halo looks, it just looked better. The anniversary graphics in the Master Chief Collection also just make the game look extremely well. However, I do think it makes the transition to cutscenes always a little weird because it doesn't go smoothly into the cutscene like in the original graphics. This game, I feel like, is also brighter than Combat Evolved, which, while that game had a lot of lights, I wouldn't say the game is dark. Halo 2 feels like there's just more light in the area, so that was, you can see better compared to the original Halo game. Now, the gameplay of this game, it's great, and we even have some new weapons that were introduced in this game. So the assault rifle isn't in this game anymore. However, we instead have the SMG that we can use to suppress the Covenant. And also probably the best gun to be introduced into Halo ever, the battle rifle, which is always extremely fun to use and can take enemies down very easily. Now, the game didn't really introduce a lot of human weapons. However, it did bring a lot of new stuff for the Covenant, like the Covenant Carbine, which is basically the Covenant version of the battle rifle, and I love it. There's also the beam rifle, which is the Covenant version of the sniper rifle. There's a grenade launcher called the Brute Shot that can explode enemies, and also has this really cool blade on the bottom for you to melee enemies with. And speaking of melee, you can actually use the energy sword in this game, which was in Combat Evolved, but you couldn't use it as a weapon. Only elites could use it, and it would explode after you killed them. But you can use the sword in this game, and it is a lot of fun to use. However, you also put yourself at risk while using it, so you have to be very careful, which basically most of the time I don't because of that. Speaking of which, where in Combat Evolved the Magnum was overpowered in this game, it has been nerfed so much, and now the Needler is the most overpowered. There's also the Fuel Rod Cannon that can shoot rods full of plasma at enemies which explode on contact. There's also the Brute Plasma Rifle, which is like the normal plasma rifle, but it's red and it fires a lot faster, but this will cause it to overheat quicker. However, it wasn't just new weapons that was introduced in Halo 2, but the gameplay itself has changed a little. Rather than having the energy shield and a health bar that you have to use medkits in order to kill, Halo 2, your health is actually just the energy shield, and you don't have to use medkits anymore. I prefer this so much more over how it was in Combat Evolved, because while I like the healing system in Combat Evolved, having both the energy shield and the health bar, it worked, but it wasn't perfect, and having to look for medkits did get annoying when you were low on health and just kept dying over and over again. But having just the energy shield and being able to just hide behind cover, get your health back, and then get back into the game is so much better. It makes the gameplay move a lot faster in my mind. But I have always loved having regenerative health in video games. I just always love it. Halo 2 has also added the ability to hijack the enemy's vehicles when they are close to you, and it always feels great when you are able to do this, and it helps deal with the annoyance that happened in Halo Combat Evolved when an enemy was in a ghost and you couldn't hit them at all, Well, you can now just hijack them when they are close, and it's so great. So Halo 2 also added dual wielding to this game, and I'm personally not that big of a fan of it. I mean, dual wielding needlers are like the coolest and most overpowered thing you can do in this game. But like otherwise, I never really use it because I much rather just have one weapon to fire, and it's more accurate if you just have one rather than dual wielding. Now, last time I waited until the end of the video to talk about the multiplayer, but I wanted to talk about it earlier this time. So the multiplayer in this game, it's fun. It's fun, I like it, and it's fun playing, and this game does have some great multiplayer maps, which are pretty great. Halo 2 is also what started Xbox Live, and it's what made Halo 2 just explode in popularity as well as the game itself. So weapons aren't the only thing that were added for the Covenant, but there are also some new enemies and characters to fight. So you have the elites, grunts, and jackals and hunters from the first game, but now there are drones, brutes, and the Prophet of Truth, Regret, and Mercy. So the drones fly around, they swarm you very easily, and they are kind of hard to hit. The Prophets mainly only show up during cutscenes, and they are the leaders of the Covenant, and they make all the rules, but you do have a boss battle with one of them. And lastly, all the brutes, who take a lot more damage than elites, and they don't have shields, so using plasma on them won't help that much. But if you kill all of them, but one, the last one will go into a rage and charge at you and do a lot of damage and can kill you very easily. There is one more enemy in this game that, yes, aren't technically a new enemy, but I'm counting them because they suck so much on heroic or legendary, especially legendary, and those are the Jackal Snipers. They can easily one-shot you and make your playthrough really hard, and sometimes it's hard to find them, and honestly, they count as their own type of enemy because of this in my mind. So I mentioned some new characters, so let's go ahead and talk about the characters like in this game. So you got Master Chief and Cortana, they returned obviously, and also Sergeant Johnson returns as well, and he is funny as always.
Catchy. Any idea what it means?
Dear humanity, we regret being alien bastards. We regret coming to Earth. And we most definitely regret the Corps just blew up our raggedy-ass fleet. Hoorah!
There's also Miranda Keyes, who is the daughter of Captain Keyes from Combat Evolved, which, if you don't remember what happened to him, here's a reminder of what happened to him in Combat Evolved. There's also Lord Hurd, who's in charge of the UNSC. Now, that's the human characters, but this game added some Covenant characters like the Prophets, who are in charge and they lead the Covenant. There's also the Arbiter, who you play as throughout the game along with Master Chief. But unlike Halo 5, playing as a different character didn't get as much hate as that game did, but I'm not going to go into that. And there's Tartarus, who is the main brute villain and also the final boss of the game. We are also introduced to the Gravemind, who's the leader of the Flood, which it is cool that the Flood have some kind of leader that is in control, but man, the Gravemind is just disgusting. I can't stand looking at this thing. This game is also really funny, and every Halo game has humor in it and moments that make you laugh, but I feel like Halo 2 feels like it's the funniest Halo game. Whether it be the Marines or the Grunts, it's just so funny, and I love it.
Come get me! I'm just a little coward! No, really, I am.
I got pain, not the fun kind.
I don't want to kill you. It's just you're too ugly to let live.
Me have bad feeling about this. You always have bad feeling. You had bad feeling about morning food nipple.
Close your jaws or I shall bite them shut.
Now, so far, I have been talking about what I love about this game because I do really like this game. But I feel like Halo 2 is probably the game that started enemies being bullet sponges and taking too much damage. And Halo Infinite would bring this back with the Banished, which, I'll talk more when I get to Halo Infinite, but I don't like this. Their shields take way too much damage. That, honestly, I feel like is the only way to actually kill them is by always, overcharging your plasma pistol and then headshotting them with the battle rifle. Or Covenant Carbine. Which, it's a shame because there are some great weapons in this game, but because the best way to kill off enemies is always just get rid of their shields with the plasma pistol and then take them out with the battle rifle or Covenant Carbine, I never use anything else. It also makes melee completely terrible because you can go and melee an elite or brute and it will feel like you did nothing to them. And then they hit you on the head Like, they literally bonk you on the head and then you die in one hit. And it's worse when they end up surviving an attack from an energy sword. Like, they survive an energy sword, only to kill you in one hit. And I absolutely hate this. And I'm happy really every other Halo game decided not to do this other than Infinite. But again, I'll talk about that when I get to that game. But seriously, look how long it took me to take out this Wraith. That is one thing about this game, and that is the fact that Halo 2 is a hard game. I don't know why Bungie decided this game needed to be hard, but this game is hard. I feel like unless you play the game on easy, you will probably die multiple times because the Covenant and also the Flood just take a lot of damage, do a lot of damage, and they can kill you very easily. There's also a lot of waiting in this game. Now, having a few seconds where you have to wait is fine, but there's just so many moments throughout this game where it feels like you just have to wait before the game decides that you can progress. Now, I didn't talk about the skulls in my video about Combat Evolved, mainly because while I was playing the Master Chief Collection, they weren't in the original version of Halo Combat Evolved, so I didn't mention them. But the skulls were introduced in Halo 2, and they add a lot of challenge to the game. You have some that are cool to have, like the Grunt birthday party, where anytime you headshot a Grunt, confetti comes out and, cheers go off. However, most skulls are designed to make the game harder, like the blind skull where you have no more HUD, so you can't aim anymore, or the black eye skull where the only way to recover your health is by melee attacking an enemy. So I should probably go ahead and talk about the story, which is pretty great. I love that the beginning of the game shows two completely different sides, whereas, Master Chief is being honored for what he did in Halo Combat Evolved. Meanwhile, the Arbiter is being punished for his failure to protect Halo. And where you could say Halo Combat Evolved focused more on humanity and Master Chief, this game probably tells us the most about the Covenant, with, how they are run, what their religion is, how they work, which I do love. We see the Arbiter get punished for failing to protect Halo, and then Cairo, the Earth defense platform, is under attack by the Covenant, and you have to fight them off, and you discover that there is a bomb on board the station, so you go fight your way to the bomb, and a badass moment happens.
Me inside your head now.
How much time was left?
You don't want to know.
Cairo, this is an Emberclad. The carrier shield is down. I'm in position and ready for immediate assault.
Negative, Commander. Not against a ship that size. Not on your own.
Sir, permission to leave the station.
For what purpose, Master Chief?
To give the Covenant back their bomb.
Permission granted.
I know what you're thinking, and it's crazy.
So, stay here.
Unfortunately for us both, I like crazy. Just one question. What if you miss?
I won't.
inside. Gear up.
We're taking this fight to the surface.
So we head down to Earth's surface and we have to fight off the Covenant, and this is where the Jackal snipers show up, which will cause you a lot of problems, especially on Legendary. Also, side note, make sure you get Johnson's sniper rifle before he gets on this Pelican, because I think this would be the only time you can actually get it. So we fight through the city, and Cortana figures out why the amount of Covenant invading Earth is less than what showed up at Reach.
Surprised. Confused. I don't think they expected us to be here. Not you, all of us. Humanity on Earth. Odd, I know, but it does help explain why they came here with such a small fleet.
And man, I just love Johnson.
The rest of your platoon.
Wasted, Sarge.
And we will be too, sir, if we don't get the hell out of here.
You hit Marine.
No, sir.
Then listen up. When I joined the Corps, we didn't have any fancy schmancy tanks. We had sticks. 2 sticks and a rock for a whole platoon. And we had to share the rock. Buck up, boy. You're one very lucky Marine.
What about that Scarab?
We've all run the simulations. They're tough, but they ain't invincible. Stay with the Master Chief. He'll know what to do.
Yes, sir, Sergeant.
Thanks for the tank. He never gets me anything.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
So we have to fight across the highway in a tank, which feels so great. And we run across some Marines we have to save and come across the Scarab from the beginning of this mission.
Terror! Marine, did I give you permission to bitch?
Now, I personally think the Scarab became a lot better in Halo 3, but this moment is still really fun with you having to just kill every Covenant, which I always die a lot during this section.
Noble prophets of truth and mercy, I have brought the incompetent.
You may leave, Tartarus.
But I thought...
And take your brutes with you.
Release the prisoner.
The Council decided to have you hung by your entrails and your corpse paraded through the city. But ultimately, the terms of your execution are up to me.
I am already dead.
Indeed. Do you know where we are?
The mausoleum of the Arbiter.
Quite so. Here rests the vanguard of the great journey. Every Arbiter from first to last. Each one created and consumed in times of extraordinary crisis.
The taming of the Hunters, the Grunt Rebellion. Were it not for the Arbiters, the Covenant would have broken long ago.
Even on my knees, I do not belong in their presence.
Halo's destruction was your error, and you rightly bear the blame. But the Council was overzealous. We know you are no heretic. This is the true face of heresy, one who would subvert our faith and incite rebellion against the High Council.
Our prophets are false. Open your eyes, my brothers. They will use the faith of our forefathers to bring ruin to us all. The great journey is a...
This heretic, and those who follow him, must be silenced.
Their slander offends all who walk the path.
What use am I? I can no longer command ships, lead troops into battle.
Not as you are, no, but become the Arbiter. And you shall be set loose against this heresy with our blessing.
What of the Council?
The tasks you must undertake as the Arbiter are perilous, suicidal. You will die, as each Arbiter has before you. The Council will have their corpse.
What would you have your Arbiter do?
When we joined the Covenant, we took an oath.
According to our station, all without exception.
On the blood of our fathers, on the blood of our sons, we swore to uphold the Covenant.
Even to our dying breath.
Those who would break this oath are heretics, worthy of neither pity nor mercy. Even now, they use our Lord's creations to broadcast their lies.
We shall grind them into dust.
And continue our march to glorious salvation. This armor suits you, but it cannot hide that mark.
Nothing ever will. You are the Arbiter, the will of the Prophets. But these are my elites. Their lives matter to me, yours does not. That makes two of us. Later, there is no doubt the storm will strike the facility. We'll be long gone before it arrives.
Warriors, prepare for combat!
Now, I have a hot take, which honestly shouldn't be a surprise knowing this channel, but I do not like the Arbiter missions. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Arbiter, and Keith David is like a treasure, but I feel like these missions didn't do Arbiter justice. Now, the later missions, like, at the end of the game when, the Covenant Civil War is going on between the elites and the brutes, I think it's really good, but that's it, really. His missions basically consist of fighting Reskin Covenant, the Covenant, or the Flood. So it feels the same as basically playing as the Master Chief. I wish that we could have gotten a level where we fight against, the UNSC as the Arbiter, and kind of get the opposite end to where, rather than being the UNSC fighting the Covenant, you're the Covenant fighting the UNSC. And then, maybe the Flood, and then lastly against the brutes. You could have had missions focusing on, focused on fighting each of the groups in the game. But either way, we have to stop a heretic from telling his lies about the Great Journey, so we fight our way to him, and we are introduced to the Flood in this level, and just like with Combat Evolved, the anniversary graphics just ruin the introduction, because you can clearly see them. Meanwhile, in the original graphics, you couldn't tell what was going on, and had to really use your imagination of what the Flood was doing to the Covenant. Like, we knew it was the Flood, but still, it was cool not being able to see them until, a little later. Now, I love the anniversary graphics, and I will always use them, but there are some things that, the original graphics just did better, mainly when it came to introducing the Flood. Anyway, we have to cut the cable holding back the storm, and then fly our way towards him to take him down.
Turn, heretic. Arbiter, I would rather die by your hand than let the Prophets lead me to slaughter. Who has taught you these lies? The Oracle.
Hello, I am 343 Guilty Spark. I am the monitor of Installation 04.
Ask the Oracle about Halo. How they would sacrifice us all for nothing.
More questions? Splendid. I would be happy to assist you.
The elites are blind, Arbiter. But I will make them see.
Now, this is the first boss in the game, and this isn't that great of a boss. And honestly, I have always stood on the fact that Halo has never had good boss battles. And I wish Halo would stop having boss battles, because Halo 2 had 3 bosses, and they basically all sucked.
An object coming into view now.
Cortana, what exactly am I looking at?
That is another Halo.
Say what?
So this is what my father found.
I thought Halo was some sort of super weapon.
It is. If activated, this ring will cause destruction on a galactic scale.
I want all the information you've got on the first Halo. Schematic, topography, whatever. I don't care if I have the clearance or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Where's our target?
The enemy ship has stopped above the ring, ma'am. We're going to pass right over it.
Perfect. Given what we know about this ring, it's even more important that we capture the Prophet of Regret. Find out why he came to Earth, why he came here. Chief, take first platoon. Hard drop. Secure our landing zone. Sergeant, load up 2 flights of Pelicans and follow them in.
Aye, aye, ma'am.
Until I can move and fight, I'm going to keep a low profile. Once you leave the ship, you're on your own.
Understood.
Over the target in 5.
Hang on to your helmet.
Mind the bump.
Could we possibly make any more noise? I guess so.
But either way, we discover a new Halo, and one of the coolest intros to a mission ever happens, and you have to fight your way through Halo in order to reach the Prophet of Regret. Which, this mission is probably the best looking mission throughout the game. This mission looked beautiful in the original game, but it looks 10 times better with the anniversary graphics. Especially when you go underwater.
I've intercepted a secure transmission from Regret's carrier to something called High Charity. It seems to be a formal apology to the prophets of truth and mercy. Apparently, Regret jumped the gun when he attacked Earth. He's asking the other prophets to forgive his premature arrival, arguing that no human presence was foretold. That explains why there were so few ships in his fleet. But it's odd a prophet would have such bad intel about his enemy's homeworld.
After we have to wait on a gondola, which remember when I said there's a lot of waiting in this game, but we get to the Prophet of Regret and we punch an old alien in the face. I mean, give the Prophet of Regret some love taps because, like, those look like some pretty weak punches, Chief, until the Prophet of Regret falls over and dies.
This is unprecedented. Unacceptable.
A hierarch is dead, Commander.
His murderer was within our grasp. If you had not withdrawn our phantoms...
Are you questioning my decision?
No, Holy One. I only wish to express my concern that the brutes...
Recommissioning the Guard was a radical step. But recent events have made it abundantly clear that the elites can no longer guarantee our safety.
I shall relay your decision to the Council.
Politics, how tiresome. Do you know, Arbiter, the elites have threatened to resign, to quit the High Council, because of this exchange of hats?
We have always been your protectors.
These are trying times for all of us.
Even as the humans' annihilation filled us with satisfaction, the loss of one of the sacred rings racked our hearts with grief.
Putting aside our sorrow, we renewed our faith in the prophecy that other rings would be found, and see how our faith has been rewarded.
Halo, its divine wind will rush through the stars, propelling all who are worthy along the path to salvation.
But how to start this process? For ages we searched for one who might unlock the secrets of the rings. An oracle. And with your help, we found it.
With appropriate humility, we plied the oracle with questions, and it, with clarity and grace, has shown us the key.
You will journey to the surface of the ring and retrieve this sacred icon. With it, we shall fulfill our promise.
Salvation for all.
And begin the great journey.
Once the shield is down, we will head straight to the library. I do not wish to keep the Hierarchs waiting.
The human that killed the Prophet of Regret. Who was it?
Who do you think?
The demon is here?
Why? Looking for a little payback?
Retrieving the icon is my only concern.
Of course.
Now, the mission Sacred Icon is my least favorite in this game. I really dislike this mission, which is a flood mission, who would have guessed, and I feel like this level honestly shows the worst of Halo 2. Now, I won't complain too much about the flood because I already did that in Combat Evolved, but this level is pretty long, and the end where you have to just wait on a gondola is the absolute worst. And man, these elites really do nothing, and these take forever to open up.
How you doing?
Sergeant, stay down! Johnson, you all right? Johnson!
Excellent work, Arbiter. The Hierarchs will be pleased.
The icon is my responsibility.
Was your responsibility. Now it is mine. A bloody fate awaits you and the rest of your incompetent race. And I, Tartarus, chieftain of the brutes, will send you to it.
And the prophets learn of this, that they will take your head.
When they learn. Fool. They ordered me to do it.
So the Arbiter gets betrayed, and I love this detail that the Gravemind shudders after saying containment. I don't know if this was in the original, but I still love it. So now we have to fight through High Charity, and this is when we first fight against the brutes, and these guys take so much damage and do a lot of damage. But I already talked about the brutes, so now this is probably my favorite level in this game. It's just so cool going through High Charity and fighting all the Covenant. It's so much fun. But also at this point is when the civil war between the brutes and the elites are going on. So you will see them fighting each other throughout the level, which is cool. So you'll have to save some Marines who got captured, and then the Prophet of Mercy is killed by the flood, and then you have to race to the Prophet of Truth's ship to stop him from activating Halo. We then play as the Arbiter and are teleported close to where Tartarus has Miranda and is going to activate the ring. So we have to fight our way there. And we come across Sergeant Johnson and actually team up with him. Now we have a final boss battle against Tartarus, and while I don't think this is the worst boss battle in this game that goes to the Prophet of Regret, this boss still isn't good. There are moments where Tartarus is invincible to any damage, and after a certain amount of time, then you can actually do some damage against him. But he can easily kill you with his gravity hammer, which sadly we cannot use until Halo 3.
What's that?
A beacon.
What's it doing?
Communicating at superluminal speeds with the frequency of...
Communicating with what?
The other installations.
Show me.
Fail-safe protocol. In the event of unexpected shutdown, the entire system will move to standby status. All remaining platforms are now ready for remote activation.
Remote activation? From here?
Don't be ridiculous.
Listen, Tinkerbell, don't make me...
Then where? Where would someone go to activate the other rings?
Why the Ark? Of course.
And where, Oracle, is that?
So that's the end of Halo 2. And this game is still great, and I love it. I did mention at the beginning of this video that Halo 2 is probably one of my least favorite Halo games. And it is mainly because the amount of damage enemies take. How they can kill you in one hit with a melee attack. The amount of waiting in this game. And just the Arbiter missions honestly not being that great. But I still love this game. And I have replayed it over and over again. I just think the other Halo games are better. But either way, thank you all for watching. Maybe next time I will talk about Halo 3. I do not know. I don't really make schedule for these videos. I really just make these videos when I feel like making them. So maybe next time is Halo 3. Next time might just be a completely different game. I don't know. Either way, I will see you all next time.
You mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
Silence fills the empty grave now that I have gone. But my mind is not at rest, for questions linger on. I will ask, and you will answer.
All right. Shoot.